All right, bring you on. Morning to you, Chase. How are you?
Perfect timing. Bom dia, senor.
Bon dia to you, director of Happy Hectares. We had a lovely chat with you talking about your reforestation project.
This is a gift you can give to someone else and to Mother Nature at the same time. And we have several different options. We have, a few price points for people as well to give back to a friend and a loved one and Mother Nature, who we all love the most.
Yeah, right. And so if anybody didn't catch you first time round, can you give us your kind of elevator pitch for Happy Hectares and what you're doing here in Portugal?
Yeah, actually right here in Serta, Pedrado Pequeno, the Zezere River there, some beautiful cork trees, kind of can show what is possible out here. But our mission is simple. We're just focused on creating lands that benefit nature and people. We want a win-win-win, basically, to where it's, we as a company win, our clients win, but the earth, Mother Nature wins as well.
Yeah.
And it's simple, doing developing of lands with native fruit-bearing trees, just managing the already existing forest out here, sustainably harvesting those. And then we're really just managing and doing lands for the future, do the fire prevention, make the house in the right spot, basically create everything that makes it safe.
Excellent.
Some simple techniques. Anyone that's not familiar with agroforestry, it's kind of a new age thing mixed with all the oldest, most traditional things. It's agriculture, forestry mixed together with what works for that place. And so for here in Portugal, we're focused on the native species, cork, oak, madroño. These are the ones that really grow well here. They thrive and they don't mess up anything else like maybe other trees would.
And so your main focus is on the oaks and the madroños, right?
Yeah. The cork oak, it's kind of hard to say, but there's the oak, which is more like the white oak we see the most of the time. And then the cork oak we're all familiar with from the wine. And then madroño is going to be the one you're not familiar with yet, the most delicious liqueur you can find, really natural sweet taste to it.
Very good.
Just do things right. We're focused on getting rid of the invasive species. And so with eucalypts and even some pine, they do get in the way of other things. So we cut those. We use that for firewood as well. So there's no waste. We're not just leaving anything on the ground there. And then the fire prevention is just basically getting all that cleaning done, like in that bottom right photo there. We do a great job of making sure that your property is safe.
Wonderful.
Here's just those services we offer, kind of the main ones we're focused on now. The reforestation is what we mentioned at the beginning, the tree planting, and then even animal support that goes into the agroforestry part. Kind of the benefits of agroforestry as well. I don't want to make this a lecture at university, but I think it's good information for people to have just so you know why we're doing it.
Yeah, not a problem.
But yeah, this is the basics. And then, basically here's our current project. This is our biggest one. We have 10 hectares of land that we're reclaiming right along the river there. And so far we've been able to plant 2,000 trees. Our goal is 5,000 to make it a complete kind of rewild forest. And then this is where what we mentioned again in the beginning, our sponsor, a tree program comes in. This is our certificate, shows the GPS coordinates, the tree type, and then it's signed by all of us founders that are putting this together.
Absolutely wonderful. Great. Sorry, I may have missed it. How long have you been doing this?
This is our second year in Portugal, but the team that we partnered up with has been doing this for over 10 years. And that's why this land out in Sobral even has been kind of in the family for a while, and it's been being transitioned this whole time. I talk a lot when I get into this stuff, so please do.
Yeah, it's a proper passion, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't something I, knew a ton about. I knew, what I could in America, but then coming here in Portugal and then obviously living in these central regions where every day you're seeing, the stuff happening, it really made an impact in me. And then we do have some other fun projects. We're doing agricultural, tourism and rural tourism where we're rebuilding some of the ruins, the classic foreigner move in Portugal, and just getting rid of all that eucalypts.
Yeah, fantastic. And how's it actually going? Because you are up against quite a force, aren't you? Like a force of nature and a force of business as well, aren't you? That there is a big interest behind the forests, and I think in many ways it's quite for the smaller landowner, it's quite a convenient and easy way to make some money. So there's a lot in favour on the commercial slash social side for people to be growing eucalyptus. And of course, there's a massive downside, which we see every now and then, of course, as well, and not just from the fires, but sort of the monocultural aspect of that. How is it being received, and what do you feel like you're up against with all of that?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when we started this, I thought it would be kind of a, tree planting company. We just go and we're just, having fun planting trees every day. But it quickly, like you see on Instagram.
Yes, exactly. Just like lovely music, sunny days every day, and you've got a mattock over your shoulder and a nice little, probably like a children's fairy tale book, right, with a little picnic in a cloth knotted over on your mattock. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
Is that not what your days are like, Chase?
No, maybe after the first week, once I finally got told what the truth is, it's just a lot more, talking to people, convincing people, and then really just cutting a lot of these, invasive species. They're, basically in our way. There's, no point in planting a tree that we know won't thrive and survive well with the eucalypts or other variations around. So
yes.
Right now, in a weird way, a lot of our work looks just like empty land. We're working with cometas to basically go and cut all these invasive species, harvest them, even if you can, and then start from scratch. And so sometimes, you're just looking at a bare mountainside and seeing the potential, though.
Yeah, yeah. And yes, I think you I'm sure, are aware, and this is probably another message you have to convey to people. This is a long-term thing, isn't it? As nice as it will be to buy and plant a tree, that's not an immediate or overnight solution. This is a long, slow project and transformation, reforestation of a landscape that once was, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I know for at least 10 years, the eucalypts has been kind of running rampant. And so now we know, we're going to spend at least 10 years just to kind of get back to where it was maybe before that. And then you're looking at 25 years until a cork tree is fully mature, and then different elements like that. Where this is, hundreds of years, we're thinking this is, for us as founders, we're thinking this is a generational thing, and a legacy that we would really leave to the future generations.
How lovely. Yeah. And I think I may have mentioned it when you were here last time, but one of my favorite books, films is The Man Who Planted Trees, which is, it could be a description of you, of course. And you get a sense from that, how you have to be mentally about this, that it is a long-term matter. It's not for the faint-hearted, and it is, as you say, I think that's the key word. It's generational, isn't it? It's about, I guess, pointing the endeavor in a new direction, and just keep working in that new direction until things are transformed. However, that's not to put anybody off buying and planting a tree right now, because that's an important part of it. If there aren't any trees planted, none of that is going to happen. So tell us about the ways, as we can see on here. How can people help? How can they get involved? How can they plant a tree?
Yeah, so we opened up an Etsy store just this month, and we have the whole campaign is our Tees for Trees. And so every T-shirt and even every product that we have for sale on the Etsy store is going to plant one tree. And so that's just right off the bat. We aren't trying to make any profit off this Etsy store. We're just really trying to get trees planted with it. And we do have the Sponsor a Tree program, which is great, that you saw on the last slide. We just do know that, people like something more physically. So this is kind of a way for the physical, article there. And then of course, Facebook always helps if we can get the word out. If you just like our page, follow us, that helps us show up in the algorithms and all that good stuff more.
Yes. Yeah. That's really lovely. Okay. And another thing that's occurred to me, I mean, you manage the planting, don't you? You're talking about massive projects and reforestation projects in particular areas. If somebody wanted to do this more locally to themselves, is that a possibility, or does it really need to be managed in a way that you are overseeing it in your part of the country?
No, I think that's kind of what we want to do too. We're doing the testing for everyone. We don't want to, hold these secrets. And so basically, the agroforestry stuff is we're working on education as well. Just I'm not the agroforestry expert either in this. I'm 2-3 years into learning. Marco Garcia is my Portuguese expert, forest expert, agriculture expert. And so I've been trying to get him to get all of his knowledge and his brain out onto paper so we can share it with everyone. But For me, it's simple. Like the first step is always to look at diversity. I think anything in the world, we need more than one thing in it. And so if you're looking at that, we do offer consultations, but then even if you have lands over maybe probably about 2 hectares at this point is what we could facilitate to, 100 hectare projects is in our range.
Wow, that's amazing. And hopes for 2025 then. It sounds like with any business or project or endeavor, you've had to flex and pivot, I think is the jargon that's used inside such circles. Things have changed obviously for you from being that happy hectare guy who goes out and plants trees every day. You've had to get involved politically, I think socially, and change your game plan to make this happen. And it sounds like you're as inspired now as you ever were, which is a wonderful thing. What are your plans for 2025? What would you like to see happen, and how can we help with that?
So 2025, we're really hoping to do a rural tourism thing, a boost, basically, whether it's through these education platforms, a workshop or so. If there's anyone out there that either has land that would be great for an event or a venue, or is willing to teach something that would be great at an event or venue, we'd love to hear from you. That's our big push to get the word out there next year. Okay,
so tell us more about that. What you want to do events? Is that the idea? And welcome.
Yeah, that's actually my background is in events in the U.S. And so I used to go and, put on either a concert or for a company, kombucha brand, different things like that.
Wow.
And so I really love to get back into it here in Portugal. And we're looking at doing, whether it's something simple when we, shear our sheep, we can invite people out to learn if we, find the right group, find the right place, things like that I think it's worth building a community for and just sharing all this knowledge. Yeah. Agroforestry is great because it really encompasses a lot of the things outdoors, because you're either, walking by trees or you're walking by animals or a field. And so any of that kind of pertains to what we want to do.
Yeah, it sounds like Mel might be reaching out to you. Sounds amazing, says Mel.
That are also through years, again, that we're talking of transformation. The Sobral land that we're working on now has been in the family's for 3 generations now, and they've been on this project since then. So those concerns have been around, and the eucalyptus is known how to deal with now, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, what's the alternative? You either just don't do anything and the eucalyptus just takes over. And of course, there would have been some gnarly old Portuguese guy many generations ago, wouldn't there, who said, I wouldn't plant those if I was you, because they may well take over. And everyone said, shush, stop being so grumpy. And now look, I think, there is a great deal of truth in that. And we don't have any other choice, do we, except to kind of physically replant other species and do our best to take out the ones that we don't want, right? Isn't that just the basic bottom line of it all?
Yeah, I think we're just trying to do our best. And, the saying of planting a tree, the best time was 25 years ago or tomorrow or today, basically. Yes. So we're just doing, what we can. And for our knowledge as well, the eucalyptus is a, tough one to work with. But the trees, again, that we're choosing are the ones that will survive the best, if any will, right there, in this land they're made for, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a much better track record, I think, haven't they, of life here in this country. That's fantastic. I have land that I'm wanting to develop via agroforestry. Would love to talk. So there you go. Mel will be in touch, if not Peter, this morning. So that's how to get in touch. People can go ahead and plant a tree at HappyHectares.Pt. There's the detail for getting in touch directly with you, Chase, right? If people do want to talk more personally, specifically about a project, that's the way to do it, on those numbers there.
Yep. Yeah, either the numbers, website, email, either Etsy message. I'll hear you. I get all the emails, so.
Yeah, very good. Okay. What animals get rid of eucalyptus? You simply need the machinery to get rid of them. I don't know what that was an answer to or a question about, but goats presumably are quite good at getting rid of eucalyptus, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. The actual controversial one, and we might get some interesting comments, is pigs are actually the best at getting rid of eucalyptus.
And they are very traditional in this country, are they not?
They are, and even they're part of an ecosystem, and that's what agroforestry is, and it's we're not trying to keep things plantation or a farm anymore. We want it to be a wild forest or an actual full system.
Mate, why would that be in any way controversial? Is that like a non-vegan approach? Is that what you're?
No, I think the pigs have just become more of a nuisance out here, from what I've heard from the countrymen.
Oh, the wild boar.
Yeah, those are the best ones to get rid of the eucalypts, though, and so it's a tough one where they might mess up your farm, but they also keep your farm from burning if there's no fires around.
Yes. Okay. Very interesting. As a former homeschooler, perhaps some of these groups, those groups, the homeschooling groups, or even the horticulture elementary public schools might be interested. There's one of those elementary schools up here. Hopefully, others. I'm guessing you've reached out to a few schools, haven't you, Chase?
I haven't yet.
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
bad
That's
learner. Yeah, I'm always nervous with Portuguese. I haven't gotten that far yet, and like I said, this last year and a half, we changed gears to where we weren't just planting trees anymore. We had to really develop that baseline of figuring out how to solve the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's something to do perhaps for 2025, or something that other people can help you with, because I think you need help, don't you? With a project of this scale, you can't do it all alone. So
Yeah.
if somebody can connect you to the educational system in any part of the country, I'm sure that could be a useful and rich thing. Anything else we can do to help you? Anything else you want to tell us before you go, my friend?
No, I hope everyone has a great holiday season, great Christmas and New Year. We're excited to keep going and reforest Portugal as much as we can.